Hello everyone, I'm Sophie.
I'm Deborah.
And together we wrote Overcoming Overthinking, 36 Ways to Tame Anxiety for Work, School, and Life. And today we're on our second video. So we're going to talk about the second chapter in our book, which is called Learn Your Launch Sequence.
So Learn Your Launch Sequence is about recognizing what triggers you, the process it takes when it triggers you, and how to handle that. And I want to just say one thing about the word trigger. I've actually come to learn over time that the word trigger is a trigger for people. And so if that is your case, please know that we are using it in a general term to mean something that activates a response or a reaction before you've had a chance to think about it, and something that activates a response or reaction that you think is above and beyond a regular, I would say normal, even though the word normal doesn't even mean anything, a regular response. And every single one of us have these things.
Yeah. So today we're going to walk through just one launch sequence for my mom and how she's feeling about what's currently going on with the coronavirus and some of the stress related to that.
Yeah. And in our book on chapter 2, we provide a list of 36 potential triggers or activators, whatever word you want to use to describe them. And today I'm going to focus on one of them.
Yeah. So let's start. So Mom, we're going to name your trigger.
So the trigger that I have picked from the book is number 32, is feeling underutilized. I feel myself getting anxious even as I say underutilized.
Yeah, so name it to tame it.
Name it to tame it, which is a strategy that we'll talk about in more detail later. So this is about taking some of the power out of it. So I am feeling underutilized right now because I don't have enough work right now to keep me to the same level of busy that I'm really used to.
Great. So let's identify what about this is in your control.
Well, what's in my control is how I define productive. Mm-hmm. So I have a pretty limited definition of productive, which looks like getting on an airplane, getting on a train, delivering a workshop, delivering a webinar, delivering some coaching, and then doing that every single day, all day. Mm-hmm. So changing the definition of what productive looks like is within my control. Seeing being less productive as a benefit rather than a problem would be within my control. And I'm trying to think of anything else within my control. Anything you can think of?
I think you can control how you react. And part of this is controlling how you react and how you name your feeling.
Right. I think I can control not confusing that feeling of, wow, I'm feeling awful because I'm unproductive, not confusing it with other stresses and strains.
Yeah. So let's talk about what's not in your control. There's so much.
There's so much. The economy, the airlines, what my clients decide to do. I could go on forever, but we want to keep these videos short.
So I'm going to have you take some responsibility for your reactions and your responses.
Okay. So taking responsibility for my reaction and responses, first of all, I want to recognize what it feels like physically when I think about feeling unproductive, and it feels like a lump in my throat, in my chest. It feels heavy here. I want to take responsibility for not ruminating, which is having the thought about my unproductiveness spin out of control. I'm going to take responsibility for not catastrophizing, which we talk about in another chapter, and we'll talk about in another video. I want to take responsibility for saying I am less productive right now, and this doesn't say anything about 3 months from now or 6 months from now or 6 years from now. And I am going to redefine productivity for the short term and think about it in terms of what I can do for long-term strategic planning for my business, what I can be cooking that you might like, so like macaroni and cheese and maybe rainbow cookies from scratch, which would be productive, and maybe thinking about ways in which I can be productive that I hadn't thought about. So doing this video series feels really productive to me. It's a daily commitment.
So you kind of jumped ahead to the next part, which is plan for your future.
Yes.
So what are you going to do to plan for your future so that you can control the feeling of feeling underutilized.
Yeah, great. And I appreciate control the feeling of feeling underutilized because I can't really control being underutilized or unproductive.
Right.
And I notice that I'm using the language the same way, underutilized and unproductive. So one thing I'm going to do is try to separate out the two of those and think a little bit about that. And I think what I'm really going to do is come up with a list of ways that are ways in which I can be utilized that are not dependent on things outside of my control, like the economy.
Great. Thank you guys for tuning into our second video. And just a note that one of us is wearing pajama bottoms, and you guys can guess who it is.
See you tomorrow.